Hello and welcome once again to Quarterlight. Today we're going to carry on with part 2 of the Land-Rover Discovery Series 1 story. One thing I do want to add that I missed on the previous episode was there was one more engine choice for the Series 1 Land Rover, which was the 2-litre MPI engine. It was purely an engine introduced to get underneath the 2-litre tax barrier, and it really was underpowered for the size and weight of vehicle. The only really interesting part about that vehicle is apparently one of the members of the royal family did actually drive one at one time. Anyway, let's carry on by starting having a look again at that price list, which we just quickly viewed at the end of episode 1. Okay, so here once again we have the price list of these used stock, which was at a dealership called Hill and Dale, which was in Blackburn in Lancashire. They later moved to Nelson in Lancashire because actually in the town there the dealership became too small for so much stock that they had. So this is used. So this is going back. This is actually a list from 1998. So most of the vehicles are at the oldest having 4 years old. So relatively new vehicles. I thought we'd have a look at this because I did forget about this until I looked in the brochure. If we look at the bottom here, there's a Discovery TDI 3-door. It's a 1996 with the number plate N468RHP. It's in blue and it had the electric pack and the freestyle alloy wheels. It had 17,000 miles at the time, and it was for sale at £13,995. These would have been new just over 20,000. This would have been the most basic model with just a few extras on it. But you can see it's already down to £14,000 at a main dealer. So they did have quite high depreciation even at the time. We can also hear this is that exact car, N468RHP, because it is in fact my old vehicle from many years ago. When we got it, it was as new and as pristine as you can imagine a car with 17,000 miles would be. I had it for a few years, and it served me well with a few little niggling problems. Now these RHP number plates are significant. This car, the original owner who did them 17,000 miles was actually Solihull Land Rover UK. So it was an actual Land Rover UK car, possibly a company car for one of the people down there at Solihull, the main, where they actually made the Discovery, of course. Now it came to thinking when I saw this, is this vehicle still around? Did it survive? So I looked at a website and we'll have a look at that now, see what we can see. Okay, so there we go. I've just gone into the UK government site where you can enter any registration plate to see what's happening. There are other sites, some better than this, some much worse, but there is different options. But I've chose this one just for ease. So I'll pop that license plate in there now. So N468RHP. And in there it comes up with, yes, it's a Land Rover, yes, it's blue, so that's correct. Now there's two things that's come up on there. It's come up that it's SORN, or which basically means or stands for stationary off-road notification, meaning that it's still around but it's not on the road, and indeed there is no MOT on there at the moment, so it's not allowed to be driven on the road. But it does look like there is a chance that it is still around, but whether it's in a farmer's field being taken apart for spares or just being used as an off-road vehicle, I just don't know from here. So that was the first thing I did to have a look at this. Later on I did it with a few different plates on this list, and I found that N733HCW was also a stationary off-road notification. There was also R596RBV was also a stationary off-road notification, and R994NJH was also the same. SORN, no MOT, not allowed to be driven on the road. I also looked at all these other ones as well. They came up with no trace at all. Now there can be a few different reasons for that, whether they've changed the plates, which I doubt. I think the most likely reason is these have been taken apart, scrapped, no longer exist. Now the only exception I found was this Discovery TDI ES Auto. Now that particular car has still got an MOT. It is on the road and being driven around. It used to be in white gold. At some point it must have been resprayed in red, and it has a Bahama leather interior, which is like a cream coloured interior if I remember correctly. So red and that leather probably go together quite nicely, although the original white gold would have been very nice on the top of the range vehicle at the time. I would imagine it's been changed colour. Maybe it's been off-road and that white gold is a hard colour to match up, so they did a full respray. At the time it had 9,000 miles and was just close to £27,000. Remember, that's the top of the range vehicle at the time. This car is certainly running around. If you know any of these vehicles, my own or indeed that one, let me know. It'd be nice to see pictures of them around if they still are. This particular car also had a twin, this R994NJH. You can see very close number plates, similar specs, ES Autos. This one, like we said, that one is a off-road notification, so probably not in quite as good condition as this one here. This top one, this TDI ES Auto, that would have been a very interesting one. It would have been their own car, probably some kind of either a car that they just used or possibly a car to use as demo purposes. It was probably had every single extra on there. The premium pack, our own car, usually means it's got everything on there. No trace of this one whatsoever, so that looks like that one's gone. So only 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 cars looks like it's still on its road, which is quite a low percentage, and I am quite surprised by that, I must admit. I did the same for the Range Rovers, and a similar story. There weren't many of them at all. I think I'm just having a quick look which one came up. Possibly this one. It's a diesel one, so always more likely to be around as a diesel. N729 LNJ, possibly could be on the road at the moment. The rest, again, no luck at all. And you know, some of these Range Rovers are £43,000 at the time. At the bottom here, the Defender. One of these Defenders, the bottom one here, N190 KCW in blue, It was £11,500 at the time. That looks like it's still taxed at MOT. That is still around today. So what can we conclude from this? Well, I would conclude that even though you spent so much money on a Land Rover, it didn't guarantee that it was going to last. I think rust certainly had a big play in this. Also, niggling little faults. Even mine at 17,000 miles had a few little faults. You always used to take it to the main dealer. He'd always had something to do to go wrong. And even I was driving down the road one day, pressed the electric windows down. There was an almighty bang, and the window just fell down. So a lot of these little niggly problems, electrical faults, marred what was a very capable off-road machine. I did later on move into a Defender, and I found that had, well, in fact, it never had any issues whatsoever on the Defender. Whether that's because there's less equipment to go wrong and it's a simpler machine, or whether they were better built, I'm not sure. You can bring up your own conclusions about that. Although, of course, the Discovery was a far nicer machine to drive on the highway. So I think that concludes today's part 2, the Land Rover story. Again, if you do know any of these vehicles, it's always nice, pop them out in the comments to see if they're still around. That would also always be nice to know. Hopefully my old Land Rover is sitting somewhere and doesn't look too sorry. Thank you so much for watching today, and again, if you do like this video, please like and subscribe. We will be doing more videos very soon. Take care. Goodbye.